Okay, so you've come on my channel presumably to find out how to fit a Chinese heater. I didn't know a few months ago, so here we go. I'll explain it as best I can. I live on a 38-foot Princess yacht, which came fitted with an Eberspatcher, which was built in 1981. Well, it wasn't very reliable, and I was told that it was going to cost more to fix it than anything else. So, for 80 quid, I've now brought a 5 kilowatt heater to replace the 5 kilowatt heater that I had a few months ago, which was old stock and packed up. It was going to be cheaper to buy another one, so that's what I've done. Anyway, you'll find in the kit your heater. You get a little screen unit, which I can show you working up there. Tells the time, sets the temperature, and it's got two settings so you can make the thing come on automatically, all that sort of stuff. You'll get an exhaust silencer, a fuel pump, fuel filter, some pipe. Now, I've used this pipe and not had any issues, but I personally think it's probably better if you get maybe some car brake pipe from a car outlet and replace it with that, because well, it's plastic at the end of the day. You'll get an exhaust pipe made of stainless steel. You'll get an inlet air pipe for the chamber. And with my kit, I got this, which you can drill a hole in your diesel tank of your caravan or your boat or whatever, and pop that through and hook it up to that, and it will draw the diesel from the vehicle. I haven't done that, but anyway, this pipe here obviously straightens out and goes the full length then. You'll get a little gasket which goes onto the heater there, and a mounting plate which goes between the vehicle and the outside world. Now then, very important you put that on. That's a silicon gasket which goes on with the that face down like that. Goes on there. Then the mounting bracket goes onto that. Bolt that to the heater. Great. Now then, my boat came already with various vents throughout. There's one in the galley. There's one in the living room here. One in each bedroom. But the kit came, my particular kit came with this. So that's the inlet for the heater. The other end's the outlet. So you would put this wherever you wanted to tee off and use these two bits of pipe. You can buy the pipe work separately on eBay, so you can vent it wherever you want it in the vehicle, caravan or boat. The wiring loom, don't be scared of that. It's dead simple. You can't get these plugs mixed up because they'll only fit where they're supposed to go. The red lead with this eyelet on goes obviously to the plus side of your battery, and the black one to the negative side of your battery. You'll find the black one shorter. If you're going to lengthen it, make sure you use a good quality, pretty high ampage wire, because they don't like any ampage that they can't draw will affect the unit. Now then, something else I'd advise. This is exhaust strap. You can find it on eBay or most manufacturers that do stuff for custom cars or motorbikes. We use it it's very trendy nowadays to wrap your exhaust on your motorbike with it. We used to use it when I was drag racing to wrap the exhaust on the car to get more power out of it really, but it does make a good insulation. You can wind it round the exhaust if it's going to be near anything that's likely to melt, because this gets very, very hot. So it's probably a good idea to do that anyway. Soak it in water, wrap it up, but make sure that you use a heat gun or something to get it dry first, because there will be a lot of steam created when you first fire the unit up. Now then, on your unit, you'll see, if I put the camera there, that's your fuel inlet, where your fuel line goes. That's the air inlet, okay? So your exhaust will go on the one opposite that and exit through whatever vehicle you've got it in. This goes inside, that's got to go outside, and the two have got to be sealed so you don't get any exhaust fumes going into your inlet of this unit. That's quite important because you don't want to kill anybody. And then of course your air intake goes on the other side. So that's how that fits on. So yeah, what I would say is just make sure that the exhaust pipe exits the vehicle in such a way that you're not going to get any exhaust fumes in the vehicle, and make sure that if it's going through a garage wall or something like that, that's sealed, because you really don't want exhaust fumes entering into that, because the two things are separate. This is a combustion chamber that gets hot. The air that's drawn in through there gets blown across the combustion chamber and back out. So the two things should never meet, and that's how you get your hot air. So I'll take it outside now. Oh, one more thing before I do that. Mounting the diesel tank, because I had problems with this. You'll see there's some little pimples on the tank. You drill through the centre of those, a small hole just big enough to take the screws that they supply you, and you can mount that to the side of anything then. You'll also find with a lot of these kits they supply, I haven't actually got it out, but there's a little fitting. Now if you want to use the fitting that comes out the bottom of the tank, there's a little bubble there. You can drill through that bit because it's thicker than the rest of the tank. There's another one there. And then I found by using a piece of wire you can feed the thing through the hole. There's a washer that goes on the back of it, and then a rubber washer goes on the front of it, and a big nut. Do that up fairly tight, and that's that done. You've got to feed them for your diesel to come out. So how did I fit it? Right, let's have a look. Here we go. Now as you can see, that's the door we just come through from the boat. We're outside on the top deck now. So I've screwed my tank outside so I can see how much fuel I'm using. And then in the mornings, if I need some on the way to work, I can pick it up. As I said, I've used the little fitting they give you with the diesel tank. And now the diesel exits the tank that way, goes through. And I've pulled the filter out so you can see it all fitted in here. I don't know if you can make that out. There's the fuel pump, and there's the fuel filter. The fuel filter always goes tank side of the pump. Another little tip, I don't know whether I've mentioned this already, but the fuel pumps now come without an arrow to show you direction of feed. The electrical connector is your outlet side of the pump. So the electrical connector is the outlet side of the pump. This, in other words, goes to your heater unit. Now then, other than that, that's my outlet, which goes to, as I've already said, it tees off into several places in the boat. And this is my inlet. Now I've run the inlet from under the benching seat in the saloon because it's then pulling warm air through the unit, which makes the unit work not quite as hard as it would normally. So as you can see, this is in a little locker above deck. I've now put that, I've drilled a hole in the deck, bolted it down and sealed it so that the air if it does draw any air through here from this area, it's not going to be contaminated by anything else. So we're going down below decks now. So there you go, that's the deck. We're in the lazarette locker now, which would probably in a caravan or a van be out to the roadside. So there you go. There's my old air dispatcher, which I've decommissioned. And as you can see, there's the exhaust hooked up and the air intake hooked up for the unit. I've made sure that the fuel line, which is there, is well away from the exhaust, and the exhaust now exits out the back of the boat as it did originally. So that's it really. The only other thing I would say is that these units do get quite hot on the bottom. I've never had a problem with it burning a hole in anything because the deck is fiberglass that I've bolted it to. But where the unit, the plate bolts to the hole that I've made, I've used, I mentioned that exhaust wrap earlier on in the video. Well, I've made a little gasket out of the exhaust wrap and bolted it to that with some silicone, heat resistant silicone, the sort of stuff they use on exhausts and that, and heating units. I've put some round the hole, put the exhaust wrap down, and some round the exhaust wrap, and then bolted it down. So that will take a little bit of the heat away from the deck, although, like I say, I've never had any problems. So there you go. Don't be scared. Quite easy to do. The one thing I would say is on Facebook there's several diesel heater sites. Join one of those because there's a myriad of people on there with lots of knowledge and several people that will supply you the parts. As I said, I've only pulled my old one out and replaced it because I needed it done quickly, and it was quicker to get one supplied and fitted than it was to repair the old one.